Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, I'm a little bit sad to do this, but the time has come for my LEBLOND lathe to find a new home. I've had this machine in the shop now for about 3 years. This was one of the restoration projects we did when we first moved into the shop. This is one of the first lathes that I got, and quite honestly, it was a quick and easy get up and go. When I say it was quick and easy, I spent a good bit of time tearing this thing apart, going through it, making some repairs. I did not go through and like re-scrape everything, re-grind the bed, but we did go through and get it mechanically in good shape. We replaced a lot of worn and broken pieces, got it up where it's basically a good usable lathe. And this has been my go-to lathe in the shop now for the past 3 years. Why am I selling it? Well, honestly, guys, I finished the 16-inch Monarch back here, and these two lathes are very similar in capacity as far as what they'll swing, but the Monarch is just a little bit more. It's just a little bit bigger. This one is a 12-inch lathe according to the catalog. It'll actually swing, 14.5 inches over the bed, but my 16-inch Monarch's just got a little bit more capacity on the swing. It's got a little bit longer bed, and what these two machines can do again is very similar, and I need the space more than I need another lathe in this size. I would rather have a lathe in a different size to kind of make things a little bit more useful in the shop. So what is it? It is a LEBLOND Heavy 12 lathe. That was the model number. This is the heavy duty version. Now LEBLOND made the Regal lathe, which is probably the one that most people are familiar with. This lathe is considered the heavy duty version, a little bit heavier duty than the Regal, which was their standard line. So this is a heavy duty lathe. Again, the swing over the ways is 14.5 inches. It'll swing 8.25 inches over the compound, so I guess that's over right here, or maybe down here, I guess. Distance between centers is 30 inches. The overall length of the machine, if you're trying to see if it'll fit in your shop, is just shy of 8 feet, so 7 foot 10.25 inches. Don't remember the width on it, but about 3 feet roughly from the farthest back up to the front here. And according to the catalog, the weight on this machine was 2,970 pounds when it left the factory. And anyway, it's a good machine. It's in good shape. Guys, if you want to see what I did to it, I have a whole series of videos where I documented what all was done to this lathe. So you can go back, look at that if you're interested in seeing what all was done to it. And you can see I did a fairly extensive restoration on this machine to get it where it is today. And again, if you go back and watch many of my videos over the last 3 years, you will see this machine in action and see what it's capable of doing. And it has been a good lathe. Is it perfect? No. It's definitely got some wear in the bed and so forth. But with that said, I've been able to make very good parts on this machine, keep things in tolerance. It has not been a problem for me whatsoever. As far as the history on this machine, I don't really know a lot of its past history. I do know that based on the serial number, it was made in 1943, which means that this machine more than likely was built to help contribute toward the war effort during World War II. So this would have been a machine that was built toward the latter part of the war and was built for war production, I'm sure, at least initially. Where I got this machine from, the gentleman that I purchased it from unfortunately had passed away. I was buying it from his estate, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him personally because I never knew him personally. However, the person that I was dealing with was a friend of both myself and the person who had this machine before me. And he did know a little bit, or at least suspected a little bit of history on it. And my friend told me he actually was a graduate of Auburn University Engineering School, as was the previous owner. And when I started cleaning the paint off of this machine to kind of verify this a little bit, at one point in time, this machine was painted blue and orange, Auburn colors. My friend that I dealt with says that he is pretty sure that he remembers this machine being in one of the engineering labs at Auburn University at some point in time. And he knows for a fact that the gentleman that had it before me had purchased a bunch of different machines and tooling and so forth from auctions at Auburn when they were selling out equipment out of old labs and stuff. So I do believe that at one point in time, this machine was in the engineering department in one of the labs at the engineering department at Auburn University. I cannot verify that, but that is, there's both evidence from what we've been told verbally as well as just the physical evidence in the colors. Why in the world would anybody else paint a machine blue and orange, except if you're an Auburn fan? Me being a Georgia Bulldog, that wouldn't fly. We made it machinery gray, which is more, actually it's very close to the original colors up underneath the very bottom of it. What am I asking? I'm asking $5,000 for this machine. And if you have any interest in it, please feel free to send me an email right down here, guys. It's down below. We can talk about it. You've got questions, whatever. I'll be glad to answer them, so forth. I feel like that's a fair price for it, considering the amount of work that I put into it to get this machine to where it is today. And it is a nice machine that should go well into a hobby shop or even a production shop, a regular machine shop if needed, to be able to get stuff done. Again, it's not perfect. It's not a pristine example, but it is a very usable machine as it is. As far as location, I'm located in Tifton, Georgia. That's in South Georgia, if you don't know where that is. Right near I-75, we're about 60 miles north of the Florida line, about 3 hours south of Atlanta. Everybody seems to think of Georgia and Atlanta as being one, and I live in the other Georgia, South Georgia. But anyway, we're about 3 hours south of Atlanta. If you need some help getting it loaded, I'm sure that we can help load this up. I've got access. I can get a forklift or something over here. We can put it on a trailer to haul it out. Should not be a problem. It is a three-phase machine. It runs on three-phase power. I'm running off of a rotary phase converter, an American rotary phase converter, and I'd have to get down and look and dig around here. I'm pretty sure it's a 3-horsepower motor that's driving this. I know it's no more than 5, and I'm almost positive it was a 3. And if you go back and look at some old videos, we actually show that motor being worked on. I'm sure that getting it cleaned up and bearings put in and so forth like that, we can go back and look and figure that out. So again, if you got any questions or are interested in it, please shoot me an email, and we can definitely talk about it. And looking for a good home for. Why am I getting rid of it again? I just don't need it because it's kind of redundant to the machine I have back here that I'm replacing it with, the 16-inch Monarch. But more importantly than that, guys, I think I got something coming that needs this spot right here. So I am wanting to get it out so that I can have the room, and I'm not going to do a spoiler alert at this point in time to let you know what we're looking at bringing in here. That deal is not 100% done yet. It's about 90% done, but I do have something that I want to put right here to replace this with. So what all comes with the machine that I'm going to let go with it here? First off, we have a nice 3-jaw chuck. This one is made by ROM, which I believe is German made, very high quality. I'm pretty sure that the previous owner actually purchased 2 new chucks for this, a 3-jaw and a 4-jaw when he got it. These chucks are, I do not believe, are original to the machine. They're in very good shape. And you can see these have the jaws that are reversible, so you can do both inside and outside gripping on them. Right now I have it set up for gripping something on the outside, which was the last job that we ran on here. You just basically take 2 socket set screws out or socket cap screws out, and you flip these over if you want to do inside gripping. Or gripping on like a piece of shaft. This would be if you were like a piece of plate in there. Additionally, I'm going to include an Aloris tool holder here. This is an Aloris BXA, I believe is what size this is. I'm just going to probably include 1 tool holder with it because I use these tool holders on another machine. So I don't really want to let all of them go, but these are readily available. You can either get the Aloris ones or you can buy the imports. They both work just as well. But this is an original Aloris brand, and it is the wedge type, not the piston type. This is the higher quality wedge type tool holder that goes with it. Other accessories that come in with the machine is going to be this 4-jaw chuck. Again, this is a ROM brand made in Germany. Again, I believe that these were purchased new to go with this machine. These are fairly new and are in excellent shape. Also has the faceplate, so if you want to clamp something onto the faceplate. All these have an L1 spindle. And this right here very well could be original to the machine. I can't guarantee that, but it's an older piece. I've never even used it, but I've got it here. Comes with the spanner wrench. Of course, you need this to take the chucks on and off on On the back side, there's a big spanner nut, and this fits on there to take them on and off. And additionally, I've got a carriage stop here. This clamps on the front way on the lathe. It's got that typical LEBLOND shape in there. And also have this one here, which this one is a micrometer stop. So it has like a micrometer head in here, and you can adjust that to fine tune. So if you bring your stop in there, you can actually read it on there where you're stopping at. So both of those can be included. Never use those, but they came with the machine, and I'm going to let them go back with the machine when they go out. The lathe is also equipped with a taper attachment, which of course will be included with it here. You can adjust this for doing cutting tapers. It's a nice long one. You can get a really long taper cut with this one. So works like most taper attachments. You clamp down the back piece, you loosen up or tighten up the nut in here, I guess it is. I can't remember exactly which one. I guess you tighten it up right here is what you do. And it will follow whatever taper that you put in here. You can read the taper off of a scale down here. You loosen these nuts. It's got a little rack and pinion in here to adjust it. And of course you can fine tune that with an indicator using some type of standard. I've shown how to do that in videos before, but it does come with the taper attachment, which was an accessory on this machine, but this one includes that. Well, there you go, guys. A little bit on the LEBLOND lathe. Hate to see her go, but we need the room more than we need the machine. And I'm hoping that we can find a good home for her to spend the rest of her, or at least the next phase of her life, hopefully still being able to be utilized and make good parts on, just like she's been used for since the latter part of World War II. So again, if you got any questions or you want to contact me about the machine, feel free to send me an email. Right down here is my email address again, and we'd be glad to answer any questions you have, work out any details, et cetera, looking forward to letting this machine go find a new stage in its life and finding a new home where it can be continued to use. Thanks, guys. That's going to be it for this one. We'll talk to you next time.